Lately, someone close to you has been acting a little differently. Quieter than usual, measured in their words, almost like they're walking on emotional eggshells. But if you pay close attention, their eyes tell a deeper story. There's a kind of searching in their gaze, as though they're silently hoping you'll understand something they can't bring themselves to say aloud. Their energy has shifted, and although they seem composed, there's a quiet storm brewing beneath their surface. Your absence has carved a hollow space inside them, and no matter how hard they try to cover it up, it's becoming harder to bear. Your guardian angels are gently nudging you toward this realization, not to burden you, but to help you see the truth hidden behind their silence. Think about how it feels when you carry a feeling inside you that's too heavy to speak aloud. When your heart wants to pour out everything but fear locks it down. That's the emotional space this person occupies right now. Each day, they gather up the pieces of themselves, put on a brave face, and go through the motions of daily life. They laugh when they're expected to, they talk like everything is okay. But inside they're slowly unraveling. Pretending not to miss you is draining them more than they ever expected. The silence they've chosen feels safer than the risk of being vulnerable, because they're terrified that if they speak their truth, it might push you further away. The fear of losing you entirely has kept them from saying what they really feel. They've gotten so good at masking their pain that even those closest to them might not notice the cracks. Maybe even you have been convinced they've moved on, that they're fine without you. But in reality, they feel your absence in every corner of their day. They busy themselves with people and plans, distractions meant to dull the ache. But when the noise fades and they're alone with their thoughts, you're the one they find waiting in the quiet. Your memory surfaces in the in-between spaces, the moments between conversations, during long drives, or late at night when the world goes still but their thoughts don't. A certain song, a shared phrase, even a particular scent can bring you back to them instantly. And though they might smile outwardly, their heart is often somewhere else, caught up in a memory of you. It's possible you've left a mark on their life in ways you haven't realized. Maybe you never knew just how deeply you became part of their world. But their longing, the one they try so hard to hide, tells the story of someone who hasn't been able to let go. They're not just missing you casually. They're holding on to your energy, to the echo of your presence, and it haunts the spaces they move through. Your importance in their life runs deeper than they've let on, and even if you've questioned your impact, their struggle to pretend says everything. If you think back, you might remember moments where their energy seemed off. A hesitation in their tone, a flicker in their expression. Those weren't random. They were glimpses of everything they're holding back. It wasn't apathy. It was fear. The kind that whispers, "What if I speak and it drives them away? What if my truth isn't welcome?" That fear has been keeping their words locked inside. But that doesn't mean the feelings aren't real. There are memories they replay often. Things they wish they had said, ways they could have shown up differently. They wonder if they were too closed off, too slow to recognize what they had when they had it. They thought time would dull the emotions, that maybe the pain would soften into something manageable. There's someone in your life who's been quieter than usual, calmer on the outside, maybe even distant. They still talk when you speak, they still smile at the right moments, but if you really look, you'll notice their eyes give something away. They're holding back, not because they don't care, but because they care too much, and they don't know how to say it. They've been carrying a heavy silence. Not the kind that comes from indifference, but the kind that grows from fear. Fear that telling you how they truly feel might push you further away. Every day they wake up and prepare to pretend. They go through the motions, convince the world, and maybe even themselves, that everything is fine. But it's not. Your absence weighs on them in ways they never expected. Your energy is still present in their world. You linger in their thoughts like an old song that plays when everything else goes quiet. And in those quiet spaces, those little pauses in the middle of a task, those late-night moments when the world is still, they think of you. Not just casually but deeply, emotionally. Sometimes it's a phrase that reminds them of you. Other times it's a laugh, a scent, a place. They find themselves looking for you in crowds without meaning to, hoping to catch a glimpse of something familiar. And despite how hard they've worked to move forward, they haven't really let go. They wear a mask, one so convincing that it may have fooled even you. But behind it is a heart that's aching, constantly pulled back to what you once shared. They fill their time with noise and people, but there's a hollow place where your presence used to be, something they can't seem to replace. Have you ever made such an impact on someone without realizing it? Have you ever wondered whether the bond between you and another person still lingers long after the last word was spoken? That's what's happening now. You may have walked away, intentionally or not, but the mark you left behind hasn't faded. It has only deepened with time. They've thought about reaching out more times than you can imagine. Picking up the phone, typing your name, starting a message only to delete it moments later. The words are there. The feelings are there. But the fear that you've moved on, that your response will be distant or cold, is stronger. So they hold back. They say nothing. And the silence grows heavier. You see, it's not that they stopped caring. It's that they cared too much to risk rejection. They've imagined every scenario. What they would say, how you might respond, and how badly it could hurt if it didn't go well. But that doesn't mean they've stopped hoping. You still appear in their thoughts in the most unexpected ways. They still wonder what it would be like to hear your voice again, to laugh together, to have just one honest conversation. They pretend they're okay. But every day that goes by without you chips away at that illusion. And maybe you've felt it too. That strange sensation that someone somewhere is missing you but hasn't said it. Maybe you've caught glimpses of it in brief conversations or moments that felt like they had more weight than words could hold. Maybe you've wondered if that connection you once had was ever truly broken. The truth is, it's still there. Quiet but steady. Hidden but alive. Your guardian angels aren't asking you to take responsibility for someone else's emotions, but they are asking you to notice what your heart already knows. Sometimes the most powerful truths exist in silence. Sometimes the most meaningful relationships don't end. They pause, waiting for the right moment to be acknowledged again. If part of you still thinks about this person, if you've ever found yourself wondering how they're doing or if they miss you too, that's not a coincidence. That's a gentle nudge from the universe. A reminder that not all stories are finished. And not all emotions fade with time. You don't need to say everything. You don't even need to fix what was broken. But maybe, just maybe, a small gesture from you, a message, a kind word, an honest moment, could shift the weight they've been carrying. And maybe it could shift something in you too. They're not asking you to save them, but they are hoping that you'll understand that what they're feeling is real. And it's been quietly sitting beneath the surface for far too long. Even if you say nothing, their love for you doesn't vanish. It's still there, tucked away behind everything they don't say. And every day that passes, it grows harder to carry alone. If you've felt their energy lately, if memories of them have resurfaced out of nowhere, if you've looked back and wondered what if, trust that it means something. It's not just nostalgia. It's the heart recognizing an unfinished song. You left a deep imprint on their life, one they can't easily forget. And now, the silence between you is not emptiness. It's full of meaning waiting to be acknowledged. This is not about obligation. It's about awareness. It's about stepping into the truth of what exists between two souls who still feel the gravity of each other. So if your heart is stirred by these words, let that be a sign. A signal that something still matters. Something worth looking at gently and honestly. You don't need to rush. You don't need to know exactly what to do. But be open. Be present. Be kind with yourself and with them. And as you hold this message, here's a blessing for you. May you recognize your own worth, even when others fail to say it. May you feel the quiet love that surrounds you, the kind that doesn't always shout but never disappears. May your heart be strong enough to feel, brave enough to speak, and wise enough to listen. And may the connections that still matter, in ways words can't explain, find their way back to light. Love often lives in the spaces we fear to look. And healing begins the moment we allow ourselves to feel what's been buried. If this resonates, carry it gently. Let it guide you, not pressure you. There is no rush. But remember, sometimes all it takes is one small act of honesty to change everything. You are not alone. You are seen. And yes, you are still remembered.